Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel for all my videos and intraday live action. So the daily SPY, for the last 2 weeks or so, straight up, the Trumponomics, the Trump rally. Before that, weeks before, it was the if Trump wins, this thing's going to tank and it's going to go down. And they're still squeezing shorts that got in down here. Just putting on the pain trade, basically. Everyone who bought puts the day before getting smashed. Anybody who bought puts going short, just getting smashed. Other than if you're going individual stocks, then you're doing okay like we are. But again, you're on a light volume holiday week. So expect possibly a float, maybe a little bit of chopping around up and down. But what a nice rally here. It went straight up, right to double top. That's exactly what they needed to do. And now do we float around like this stuff we did, last couple months where it just went up and just chopped around, set up in a bearish manner, finally started pulling back. We hit some support and bam, like a slingshot, straight up everyone's you-know-what. Weekly basis, we are above the all-time high, but on a weekly close, I want to see it close above the 1960 area on a weekly basis. Then I want to see some follow-through next week with some volume. I want to see this jicky-jack volume. We're only on 1 day here. We're going to have lighter volume because we're going to be closed on Thursday, and I believe a half day on Friday. But again, even if I think we're open on Friday, but really, how much action is going to be then? But honestly, who knows? So weekly, I want to see that close. We did not close above the high on Friday, so still a possibility we can move up, maybe into the 225 area. But we'll watch this closely to see where this thing can go. It's been quite a rally, just like this one, straight up, came back in, straight up again. So again, we're just doing a rolling top, guys. We did make new highs. We did call a top over here, went through it. Let's see if we can pull back. Let's get into the IWM. Again, this was a lagging indicator, and now it's somewhat leading, but I still don't believe it. We had good volume on the weekly in the last 2 weeks. We'll see what happens this week. But on the daily basis, we're just starting to putter out. We had 4 huge volume days, and then all of a sudden, nothing. And look, you just kind of just go do, just kind of floating up like a butterfly, basically. But if you go back to the all-time high, which is, let's see if we get back there on this one, right here at 129.10 or so. So we're well above that so far. So let's see if we could continue up, maybe get to the next, maybe 132, 133. But I want to see volumes like this. Come on. This is some conviction volume. Come on, keep it going, guys. Why is it disappearing into the holiday week when they know there's going to be no volume where they can possibly push it up? CNBC is high. I'm sure that's all they're talking about right now. Everything's at all-time highs. Hurry up. We're about to break out. But again, we did close above here on a weekly close. I want to see some follow through. I want to see us close around 133, 134, and then possibly we'll get some more up moves. On a straight up move like this, we're going to get a pullback eventually. But with the light volume holiday session coming up in the next month and a half or so, these markets can probably stay here all the way to January, to be honest with you. That's what they tend to do. And, I've been watching this stuff for years, and we'll see. Again, the volume's puttering out right now. We do have Thanksgiving on Thursday, so we'll see what happens with that. Qs again, this one hasn't made new all-time highs, so we're in an inside bar here. We're going to watch this closely. The tech's been pretty much battered lately, but we are trying to get above these high pivots and this red body candle. Let's see if we can do it by Friday. This is a weekly close, so on a weekly close, I want to get above the all-time highs and close. If we can't, then we're going to watch this closely and see exactly where this is. Do we stay above the 20? Do we close on to 20? But another couple of days we'll know that information. The daily chart, same thing, nice inside bar. We did close above this high pivot. I want to see it close that, and I want to see it close this gap right here. I want to see it fill this gap and then possibly go up. But it's starting to slow down. Volume's just floating this thing up. Look, heavy, okay to nothing. Last couple of days we float up with the markets. That's what you would expect going into the holiday week. Thanksgiving and all that good stuff. So let's go into the DIA. DIA, new all-time highs. Did we make it to 19,000 today? 19,060, so it's getting closer. And actually, this is doing a little bit of a bullish pattern here above the MAs, a little bit stretched, so beware of that. But honestly, this one might actually pop and maybe pop through 190, 192, 93. But we'll have to take this each and every day, and tomorrow will give us a new piece of the puzzle. But with the light volume again, look, we had 2 heavy days, then it kind of puttered out. We had a pretty good day. Not, volume was okay, but then today it was, a little bit less, and we floated up again. Weekly chart. Weekly, you can see it's getting tired. I mean, this wasn't a bad bullish pattern. I mean, it wasn't the best. We had a little inside bar going here. It broke down, and all of a sudden, pop goes the weasel. But we never confirmed above the all-time high. Let's see what happens on Friday, which is the weekly close on this chart. I mean, we'll start looking at the daily or on the monthlies soon to see what those look like. But, when you get, only 3 months of consolidation, and then you get a pop up, it just needs more. It needs like 6 or 7 or 8 months, and then you might get a good move. So beware of that as well. IYT is still lagging, but man, they are trying on this one every day, just grinding higher. Volume's getting lighter and lighter. I mean, it's not terrible. You got a good push up here, then they pushed it here a little bit more, steady as she goes, and then that one there was nothing, and then just going nowhere. But we are above that 160 area, so you got to be aware of that. Let's see where we close tomorrow. Let's see on the weekly chart. Weekly chart. This was a nice bullish pattern we talked about for a while. If this pattern failed, we go lower. If it played out, it better start moving fast. But we had weeks and weeks and weeks of consolidation. Boom, going up. Had nice volume. Volume's disappearing on this candle. But again, we have 4 days to the week, so we'll know more. But we are into this high pivot here and this breakdown candle here, where maybe we can move up to 163, 164. But we'll see what happens in the next couple days. If it does stay buoyant like this, we have a great chance of it because on the holiday float, no volume, no participation. Everyone thinks it's a rally. We didn't even have a confirming uptrend today, guys. It was actually pretty pathetic, but you got to respect it. Light volume, step aside, and let it do its thing. So now we're back into the oil rally again, guys. Oil's rallying because Iraq and all those guys, they're this time it's for real, so. Until they do cut the output, I don't know. I think it's just more lip service by our leaders. We are moving up into the 50. We're trying to recapture the MAs. That's their goal in life. And look at this. We had a nice bearish pattern starting to play out. And they had to get it up, or that was going down. And I still wonder that we held this trend line, but higher oil prices for America is just not good. Our economy's not that good. Janet's still waiting on data. They lied every time with the 6.5 interest rate or the unemployment, 5.5, 4.5. Next thing you know, well, we're going to look at 2.5. So how much of this crap can you really, really listen to? Just like go back to Bernanke in 2007 when the housing crisis happened and the house prices were coming down. He came on, talked in front of the other talking heads and told everybody, oh, the housing prices are okay. No, there's nothing to worry about. It's stabilizing. Housing prices won't go down from here. Just look it up on YouTube. You'll see him telling everybody how the housing, we got this. So anything that's being said by these, lip service, all the central bankers, don't believe it. And you have some coming out on the record going, we should raise rates. Just make sure you got me on the record today, 11/21/2016. Me, Fisher, said, this, so mark that down, dot your I's, I'll cross your T's, just make sure you spell my name right. So if this thing explodes, I could be the one saying, hey, we had to do this. So at this point, we can actually, God, they're saving this thing. You have a trend line here. This is interesting, now that I look at this. You have a trend line here too. That's the one that's, that's the bigger one, I think. Because you have a little bit of a head and shoulder bottom here. Will it play out? I don't know. And that's what they're kind of trying to save it. You got the shoulder here, the head here, the shoulder here. But then you came up again and hit it again where, this is a long shoulder. It's nothing. But honestly, we break this trend line. We could, I'm telling you, we could go right back to double bottom. So So now we got more lip service on this one. I still think it's going lower, but you know what? Let them push it up into this area again, and we'll short it again. We were short up here. We covered down here. I'm still in a quarter position of the USO, and that's fine. You know what? If it comes up here, then I'll just add more, and we'll do a cost average, blah, blah, blah. I'm still in the money on this position a little bit. We did take the SCO, and that one's long gone, but we'll wait for that one as well for a trade. But the USO going up. Let's see on the weekly. You know, on Friday, I want to see that if we do close above these moving averages. I'm pretty sure we are above them now. But what a coincidence. They pop it right above those moving averages. Holy cow. We don't want to deal with that resistance, so let's just gap it over and keep it going. But we're still in this inside bar. We still have a gap fill coming up here. So this will be interesting action on the weekly to see, do we just actually come back down, or do they rally it up to this, you know, trend line here, maybe to this double top. But again, we'll be adding shorts if it starts going up in there again, and then we'll take it from there. The UUP's been on a tear, which is the dollar. We went right into my area, 26.12. Now it's consolidating sideways. Let's go to the daily real quick. So the daily, we ran up, pretty good spike, starting to get stretched a little bit to the upside. So you'd expect a little bit of a pullback and then possibly the continuation on to the next level, which is going to be, I think it's 26.50 or something like that. So 26.50, but we'll see how this pivot here reacts, see if it consolidates in a bullish manner, then possibly more upside. Let's look at the weekly chart on this one. Weekly charts, you know, pretty much the same thing. I just have a couple more high pivots up here. We have this pivot at 26.50, 26.83, then ultimately 27.21. And man, if it really gets going, I mean, maybe the 28.93. But you know, one day at a time, guys. I'm not throwing anything out there. Let's get to 26.50 first. Let's see how this sets up to possibly move higher, or do we just come in and engulf this candle to the downside and fill the gap and start heading down again? We'll see. And if this does, then oil will possibly go up. Gold will go up. That's another one we've been waiting patiently on to see if we could get a really, really good entry on it. So, all right, then the GLD, same thing. Pulled back. Let's look at the daily. Oops. So daily chart came, you know, kind of have a head fake. We never filled the gap up here. Got above the window. Little tail, little bit of sideways action, pulled back, bounced up, came right in. Now we're holding that area 115.35 or so in a bearish consolidation. I still think gold's going to 112.32, then to 109.18. Somewhere in this area, we could probably be, you know, pick up some more. We did add a little bit here, you know, on the position at 115.50 or so, right in there, I think it was. And then we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm still thinking a little bit lower prices. But I wanted to add something just in case if it goes up. Even if you do 100 shares, this thing moves up 10 bucks, it will be $1,000. If you could do 200-300 shares down here, then 200-300 here, or maybe 200-300 down here, you know, load it up, get a cost average around 108. I think that will be pretty good. But right now, you know what, if you can add 100 shares here, 200 shares there, knowing that you're going to have to add more, don't get crazy here. But, you know, the minimum 100 shares. If this thing moves 10 bucks, it's $1,000, guys. That's a great trade. So we'll be watching this one close. Right now, we're just consolidating for possible lower prices. All right, guys, that's it for today on the indexes. You know, we're hitting all-time highs on the IWM. The Qs didn't make it. The DIA did. And right now, they're hyping it up on CNBC, you know, the Santa Claus rally, all that good stuff. Again, we're at all-time highs, guys. How much higher can these markets actually go? We're hitting huge resistance. The only way it's moving up higher if the volume stays low and starts to disintegrate, then there's a possibility of us going higher. But in the meantime, we're going to keep scalping. We're going to keep taking trades, swing trades, and making it happen. Like I said, subscribe to me on YouTube. You'll get all my videos, all my live stuff. Come and follow me on StockTwits and Twitter. And let's find some trades, make some money using technical analysis. All right, guys, that's it for today. I want to thank you, everybody, for showing up, everybody for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. And God bless, and see you on the charts.